Hello and welcome to another interesting episode of the Reflection series, a series where we listen to stories that recharge and rejuvenate us. And like always, we have a wonderful guest with us today, Tushar. Tushar Garg, originally from India and working as a technology professional in Australia, has been fortunate to experience a rich tapestry of cultures across different countries. Tushar has a passion for music, photography, and reading. He has been a Raj Yoga student since childhood with a lifelong aim to better understand himself and the world across the variety of facets. And the title of the story today is Finding Purpose. And as Tushar says, what is my purpose? Why are we here? And what is it all about? For Tushar, these have been the only questions that truly mattered. And then during COVID, and seems like a lot of thought has gone behind it. So we are very eager to hear your story. So without any further ado, a very hearty welcome once again, and it's over to you.
Hey, thank you, Lata. Thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, it was quite interesting when I was asked to present a reflection topic, and I kind of had to think back and consolidate some of my thoughts from the past 5 to 10 years. So, yeah, very happy to be here and sharing my experiences and reflections. So as mentioned, I've spirituality has been a big part of my life since I was a child, and I was always drawn to the spiritual betterment of myself, um, not necessarily linked with organized religion per se, but a deeper understanding of the spiritual identity. Also, ever since I've known myself, I've always had a passion for the arts, reading philosophy, music, and I've always been a keen interest in, following world stories and cultures. And what really helps me get my buzz is to kind of look at all the similarity between different cultures and different stories, and then find that common thread that seems to be connecting all of us. And in so doing, I like pursuing creative arts, and I think that's one of my fundamental calling. Now, when I first started going into spirituality at the very early stages, this seemed to be at odds with what I thought was, gaining enlightenment. One of these aspects was I thought was, to be progressing in spiritual reflections and enlightenment was to get towards a point of um, numbness and happiness without necessarily any particular action. And that was really at odds that, how can I be spiritual and yet have all of these worldly interests? And it took me a while to kind of synthesize that and really come to this realization that it's actually complementary and not opposite, and that creative expression is one of the most beautiful ways we can express ourselves and our internal qualities. So, with that context, when I first came to Australia in the early 2000s, I was an avid pop culture enthusiast. I would go to conventions, anime conventions, pop culture conventions, comic cons. I would love going to all of these wonderful street markets that we get in Sydney, meeting all these wonderful creators from unbelievable variety of backgrounds and walks of life, and coming up with their own beautiful art and their trade, and then putting the life force and passion and energy into it, and just connecting with them at a deep level was really beautiful. And it's wonderful to meet all of these people and harnessing that understanding to say what it meant to creatively express oneself was, I think, really empowering for me. And fast forward to the early 2020s when COVID hit and we kind of stopped all that. It's quite a brutal time. I think most of us collectively have uh, trauma from that event as a society, I believe. And I feel a lot of us are still collectively still recovering. And I don't think society in general has come out of a lethargy that has taken hold in some areas. And, we did all the right things. At least myself, you follow proper hygiene, you try to take, risk-averse actions. I donated to charity organizations, and still it felt kind of empty in the sense there must be something else that I could do to help. And materialistic support, while had its place, didn't really feel as if it hit the right note for me. It's not that I would stop doing administrative and materialistic support because that was important, but I felt there was something else I felt I needed to do to at least play my small part in healing the injured spirit of the community. I mean, I'm a fairly introverted person, so, but even for me, after a while, it's, there isn't such a thing as, spending too much time in one's head before things start to go a bit haywire. So fast forward to when we started to have relaxation in the restrictions. And I decided to go downtown. If you've ever been to Sydney, George Street is such a remarkable street to walk down. Every 200 meters, it changes its personality so much. There is such a lot of beautiful architecture and variations in architecture and people all the way till you get to Circular Quay. It's a beautiful street to walk down. And there was a busker playing their heart out on a homemade song near the Queen Victoria building. There were only a few people there. It still was very less crowded, not too many people on the streets. And this guy was playing their heart out. And it was just such an amazing song. And afterwards, when I walked up to them, socially distanced and all that, and I wanted to engage with them as to how they found themselves wanting to play. And what I learned was they just needed to come out and express and share what they had with the world, something they've not been able to do for a year and a half. And the sheer joy that I saw in their face of being able to express what they've created and share that with someone and having feedback and having appreciation expressed back to them, I think something really clicked for me. I think for me, that resonated to such a big degree because it helped me to understand one of my purposes was to be a witness to people's expression and to be in that space with them as they express their qualities, as they creatively manifest their ideas, and just acknowledge people being seen. I think that was missed by so many, just to be able to get acknowledgement and to be seen for what they do. And over time, as I churned this idea, I found I was able to extend that to pretty much not just specific performances of people, but everyday occurrences. You go to a coffee shop and you order a coffee, and a barista makes it with passion, and even if they don't, they're doing a job for you, and there's a sense of gratitude. You go out to the seaside, and there's a sense of acknowledgement of all that nature's bounty has to offer. And it just snowballed from there, and it kind of emerged as this fundamental acknowledgement of gratitude and being able to witness around you and to be in that zone. I think that was really, really liberating for me. And that was really empowering. And I truly felt that added value to a lot of people as well, over at least my interaction that I've had with them at least. Yeah, and that started the ball rolling because this was one of the first major breakthroughs I had in a while, because like doing spirituality since my childhood, there's always this cusp of understanding. And yeah, it's on the sidelines, but this was one of the first few times where it really started to hit deeper as an integrated part of my life. Then the second realization, this was more of a gradual churning about, being able to witness things around, and showing a sense of gratitude is one thing, but there's always this question, like, what do I need to do with my life? Like, what's the right path for life? Like, do I get a second college degree, or do I have a thriving family, or do I take a sabbatical? What's the right pattern? What do I need to do? So interestingly, I was walking down a street in Christchurch, and there was a sandwich board outside a cafe, and that had a lovely little quote, which I recently learned after that was from a priest and a philosopher, Teilhard de Chardin. It says, we're not human beings having a spiritual experience, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And that really resonated with me. And it kind of brought this realization that, yes, at the end of it, at least in my learning and my experience, that I myself am a spiritual being at the heart of it, manifesting in this physical life. and trying to be the best I can be. And as I, dug deeper into that, this idea about situating myself in this spiritual identity kind of flourished, and this understanding that uh, I, I'm a spiritual being, and a spiritual being has fundamental qualities of truth, peace, power, purity, and love. And no matter what I do in life, as long as I'm able to express those fundamental qualities in what I do, as long as I'm able to chart a path in life with the right intentions and the right basing of in those qualities, then it's correct. And this was such a subtle thing because um, what is the intent? What is the drive that comes to one in life? And a lot of it I found was external, in the sense how I think the world should work, whether it's a response to anxiety of deteriorating world environments, whether it's how I think my definition of success based on what I've seen in my culture and across different cultures. And if I strip away all of that, I said, if I need to really experience my internal qualities as a spiritual being, and if I base myself in that, then whatever I do is fine. This was incredibly liberating because there was no fit pattern now that I needed to conform to, but also B, somewhat intimidating because it's completely on me, right? Like there's no necessarily blueprint that I can latch onto and say, okay, cool, I've done a good life. But I think I prefer that. And I'm trying to, dig a little bit deeper into that. Um, so that really helped to kind of internalize and synthesize my spiritual learning with my everyday living. And I've been using that in my office jobs as well. When I connect with people, I kind of sometimes have to remind myself, you know, people are trying to do their best and they have their own motivations and drivers. And I need to respond rather, not react, basing myself in those original qualities, still understanding what needs to be done, right? It's not about ignoring deadlines. It's not about not expecting good work from people and not doing good work yourself. But what is the internal intrinsic motivator that drives me to do it, and how do I do it? It's a work in progress, as you can imagine, and it's been quite fulfilling. It gets a bit difficult at times because old habits die hard, but I think it's a journey worthwhile to take, at least for myself in my personal experience. Yeah, so I think over the last 5 to 6 years, especially with all the turmoil that's been happening, I've chosen to let that trigger and a deep sense of internal reflection and where am I headed in context of where the world is headed, as I'm sure many of us did as well. Yeah, so that was my overall reflections in this space. And I feel like there maybe are two, maybe three big breakthroughs coming, not done yet. So just looking forward to see what's going to come around the corner.
That's wonderful. So COVID wasn't that bad after all. It
Yeah, I mean, it
led
was
you.
quite traumatic in certain cases, but yeah, it was weird. It had certain opportunities where some people were able to capitalize on.
Yeah, and certainly you did do that, and took that thinking led you to finding your purpose, and like what's better than that? So looking at the positive side, it's been really helpful, and it's been a wonderful story that you shared, Tushar, like a journey in a way. Uh, do you think you have reached the destination or goal, or how far do you think you have reached, and uh, what's the next steps further?
Yeah,
What's your
it's
thought on
interesting
that?
you ask that because every time we go on a journey, there's a question, there's a sense of asking, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Um, I feel I'm at a point where I'm enjoying the journey a lot more than I realized I would. And it's quite enjoyable to uncover the next new pleasant surprise that I will discover within myself. Um, yeah, I don't think I'm there yet. I think the question is about the realization. We have realizations, and then it becomes an act of consistency and how that needs how I need to adopt that and understand what works for me in my lifestyle. Because if I do it as this is what the rules say, and this is because I never really took those beliefs just like that. I needed to explore and understand. So it's more about consistency and actions over time. And that's been the recent challenge, because how do I really make it consistent over time? And what is it um, that makes me slip up every now and then? Like, is there like what else is there to kind of bring out and check out?
You know, I recently heard someone, talking about like is the journey better or the destination better? And then the answer was neither. It's the company.
Yeah.
So what would you like to say on that?
That's really profound. I think being a fairly introverted person, I can spend a lot of time with myself, but I really do appreciate the company that I have with people, and to be able to share these kind of things. It's not easy to find this kind of community. But you know what? It's quite surprising, or maybe not so. The more I reach out to everyday people and talk about this, the more they open up as well. And it seems like a lot of people, at least in my circle, whatever walks of life, they want to talk about it. They want to go deeper. And you're right. To be able to share that with people and to resonate with them, I think that's really an important part of it. So journey with the right company, I think, yeah, it's been fun so far, and I'm looking forward to more.
And uh, as you have mentioned, you have been practicing Raj Yoga meditation for a very long time. So uh, can we say like there is a company of a different energy, or that also has helped you, empowered you so far, and will continue to do so?
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the hidden realization that you kind of, it's like when you do exercise or when you do diet, and you do a little bit at a time, and then maybe the first week you're super enthusiastic, and then but you're still consistent over the next few months, and then you don't see too much results immediately, but then you look back and then, oh my god, that you've made such a big difference. Like for me, spirituality wise, it was quite similar, because there's a sense of accompaniment of the spiritual force and energy within me and within surroundings as well as. And personally for me, the connection with the divine energy, I think that was always there, which I didn't necessarily have the tools to connect with before. That's been quite remarkable. So yeah, for sure. It's like the antenna I had needed to be cleaned up to receive the signals that were always coming around.
Yeah, and by meditation, I suppose, like the signals are much clearer, cleaner.
It's interesting. It's initially I thought, oh, if I do meditation and I reach out, I'll get the answers of this is, you should do this. Quite the opposite. It's like, well, these are your options. These are what's going to happen if you do it. It's all on me to decide what to do. So signals clearer for sure, but it's more like empowering the action I still have to take. I don't think there's any shortcut for that. And that's part of the harder realizations I think people have, to say, well, it doesn't give you a guidebook. It just gives you the tools to understand yourself better, so you can take a more informed decision of the next step.
And that is the search or the find that, we all are on. So that's the journey.
Yes, I'd
Yes,
agree with that. Yeah.
beautiful. Any last thoughts before we lead our viewers into a meditation experience, Tushar? What's next?
For me personally, simplicity, you know, um, simplicity in action and thinking. I have a I have a very analytic brain as well. I work in technology, so I can't help but analyze everything. But I'm trying to get to a point where just because I can analyze something doesn't mean I have to. I think simplicity is the name of the game at the end of the day.
That's quite a wonderful answer. Simple and happy. Wonderful. So, as we do in every episode, can I also request you to maybe speak a meditation commentary so our viewers can get a little glimpse of what meditation is and get a small experience as well.
Yeah, for sure. I'll speak in first person. I think that works best.
Sure.
Yep.
Thank you.
I sit comfortably and I consciously allow myself a moment of stillness. I relax my breathing. I relax my muscles in my leg to my toes. From my arms to my fingers. I release any tension in my shoulders. I allow myself to be in a moment of stillness. I let my thoughts come and pass. While I remain. I gently draw my attention inwards, following the trail of where the stillness comes from. My attention goes to my middle of my forehead, where my soul, my spiritual identity, where I, as the spiritual being, sits and commands my body. I experience my own original qualities, my indelible qualities, of peace, purity, truth, love, power. As I sit in this awareness, I feel immersed in the unconditional divine love. As this energy emanates from my soul out into all the world, this is who I am. And I sit here for just a moment and just be. Slowly and gently, I bring my awareness back to the here and now. Remembering this energy and this peace inside of me. As I get to where I need to go next.
Thank you very much, Tushar, for that beautiful commentary. And also thank you once again for sharing your story with us today. I'm sure everyone really, really enjoyed it and might have got them thinking as to what's the purpose. Let's find our purpose. So thank you for joining us.
It's been
and I would also like to
great
thank
to
our viewers. And if our viewers would like to visit any of our centers, you can go on the website www.brahmakumaris.org.au. All the details of the addresses, the programs is all listed up on there. So thank you once again, and we will be back with you with another interesting episode of the Reflection Series. So thank you. All shut.